Dear students, in your last class we started SN1 reactions. In that class we learned about the mechanism of SN1 reactions. Today let us know something more about SN1 reactions. Here you can see the energy profile diagram of SN1 reaction. This is the potential energy diagram for SN1 reaction. The potential energy profile for a SN1 reaction shows the variation of potential energy with the progress of the reaction. On the x-axis, on the y-axis you can see the potential energy, and on the x-axis you can see the progress of the reaction, or it is known as reaction coordinate. That means how the potential energy varies with time. Potential energy of the system varies with the time, that is given by the energy profile diagram of SN1 reaction. Progress of the reaction means with the change of time. So the diagram, it is also known as reaction coordinate diagram, clearly shows that the reaction proceeds through two transition states with carbocation as the intermediate. Here you can see the reactants are, this is the energy profile diagram for the hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide with alkaline hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide. The nucleophile is hydroxide ion. So it involves two transition states. This is the first transition state, that is rate determining transition state. Then this is second transition state. Then it also involves one carbocation. Then finally we will get products. So these are reactants, these are products. So the net enthalpy change is seen to be negative, showing that the overall reaction is exothermic. This is the enthalpy of first reaction. That means in the system we have reactants tertiary butyl bromide and hydroxide ion. When we put some energy to the system, the energy of the system increases, and as transition state will reach. That means in the system, the tertiary butyl from the tertiary butyl bromide, bromine atom will start to break. That is the first transition state. So in that transition state, carbon will have a partial positive charge and bromine will have a partial negative charge. That is the first transition state. Then this transition, for the formation of this transition state, large amount of energy is required, that is EA, activation energy. So this step will be very slow. So this is the rate determining step. Then after the formation of transition state 1, this is the transition state 1, then it will convert to carbocation. That means the bromine ion will break from the carbon bond. This bromine atom will break away from the carbon atom. So we will get a carbocation. So this is somewhat stable. That means tertiary butyl carbocation is more stable compared to secondary and primary. So this is somewhat stable, but still it is not stable as it is an intermediate. It is a charged species. So it will further react with the nucleophile. Nucleophile here, it is the OH minus ion. Then forming another transition state. In that transition state there will be partial bond with OH minus. That means carbon will have a partial positive charge and OH minus will have a partial negative charge. Then again, after the formation of transition state 2, it will release energy and will form a stable bond with that means a nucleophile will form a stable bond with carbon. So tertiary butanol will finally form and will release energy. So the energy profile diagram involves two transition states. In both transition states, there will be partial positive charge and partial negative charge. So they are at the high energy level. Transition states are at the higher energy level compared to intermediate. Carbocation is an intermediate. So energy delta H for the formation of carbocation is delta H1. Then delta H2. This is energy requiring process. So this is an endothermic reaction. Then second step is the fast step, that is carbocation will readily react with OH minus ion and form the products. So this is energy releasing process. Delta H2 is negative. Negative means delta H2 for this reaction is delta H of products minus delta H of reactants. That will be negative value. In this case it will be positive value. Delta H of intermediate minus delta H of reactants, that will be positive value. So the net enthalpy change. Net enthalpy change means delta H2 minus delta H1. That is negative value. That means the product. Delta H of products minus delta H of reactants. That is net enthalpy change. This is the delta H value. That will be a negative value. So this is a spontaneous reaction. If the delta H value is negative, then that reaction will be spontaneous. So SN1 reaction is spontaneous. In SN2 reaction also we saw that delta H, we saw the enthalpy change. That is also spontaneous reaction. The net enthalpy change is seen to be negative, showing that the overall reaction is exothermic. So the net enthalpy change is negative, so overall reaction is exothermic and also spontaneous. The first step involving the decomposition of the alkyl halide through heterolysis of the CBr bond to yield a carbocation. That we already discussed. The first step is the breaking of CBr bond and forming a transition state 1. Then it will form a carbocation. It is seen to have a very high activation energy. First step requires high activation energy, so it is highly endothermic. Delta H1 is positive. Due to the high activation energy requirement, the first step is slow. In the first step you can see it is a high energy process, so first step will be slow. The second step involving the fast attack of the nucleophile OH minus on the carbocation is seen to have a very low activation energy. It is also seen to be highly exothermic. So second step is the attack of the nucleophile on the carbocation. That is very fast, since carbocation is an unstable species. So it will react very fast than forming the products. So this step is very fast and will require very low activation energy. So delta H2 is negative for this step. Since the activation energy required is very low, the second step occurs very fast. So this step occurs very fast because the activation energy is very low. So this is the energy profile diagram of SN1 reaction. It involves an intermediate and two transition states. But in the case of SN2 reaction, it involves it involves only one peak in the diagram, that is the formation of transition state. Only one peak. In the case of SN1 reaction, there are two peaks and one valley region, that is the formation of carbocation. So this is all about the energy profile diagram of SN1 reaction. Next, we can discuss about the stereochemistry of SN1 reaction. Stereochemistry means it is nothing but the three-dimensional arrangement of atoms and the effect of this on the chemical reaction. So, the initial step in an SN1 reaction of an alkyl halide involves the heterocyclic cleavage of the carbon halogen bond. Then heterolytic. It means heterolytic cleavage of the carbon halogen bond of the substrate leading to the formation of a carbocation. So first step is the formation of carbocation by the breaking of carbon halogen bond. Heterolytic cleavage. This carbocation has a planar structure due to the sp2 hybridized state of the positively charged carbon. So this is the structure of a carbocation. Outline structure of the carbocation formed in the first step of SN1 reaction. So in the carbocation there are three substituents. One is this, second one and third one. There are three substituents that are involved in a plane. This is the plane of atoms. Three substituents or three atoms. Then there will be one unhybridized p orbital. This is this sp2 hybridized this is the sp2 hybridized structure for sp2 hybridized planar structure for carbocation. So there will be one unhybridized p orbital. This is the unhybridized p orbital. So the side where the leaving group had been attached is considered as the front side. This is the front side from where the leaving group had been from where the leaving group had been detached. This is the front side. Then the opposite side is considered as the back side. Subsequent attack by the nucleophile is equally probable from either side of the plane. So since it is a planar structure, the incoming nucleophile can attack from both sides, from the back side and also from the front side and also from the back side. There is equal probability for the attack of the nucleophile from both sides. So here consider the side from the leaving group from which the leaving group has departed as the front side, and the side opposite to that is considered as the back side, that we already discussed. A front side attack would result in retention of configuration, while a back side attack would result in inversion of configuration. So front side attack means this is the front side from where the leaving group has departed. So front side attack would result a retention of configuration. That means it will result a configuration in a state in which the original molecule was there. That means here we had the leaving group. So in the here we had the leaving group, and if the nucleophile attacks on this side itself, then we will get a retention of configuration. That means just as in the case of the starting material. But if the nucleophile attacks on the back side, then that will result in the inversion of configuration. Configuration means the three-dimensional arrangement of atoms. So there will be some change in the configuration. That is the L and D configuration, that you know, L and left hand and right handed configuration of the starting material will be different. So since both are equally probable, we would expect half of the product to be with the retention of the configuration of the substrate and the other half to be with the inversion of configuration. So since the carbocation is having a planar structure, the probability of the attack for the attack of the nucleophile is probability for the attack of the nucleophile is equal from both sides. That means there will be half of the retention product and half of the inversion product. If the nucleophile attacks from the same side from where the leaving group departed, then we will get retention of configuration. On the other hand, if the nucleophile attacks from the back side, we will get a product with inversion of configuration. Therefore, if the substrate is optically active, then due to the formation of the enantiomers in equal amounts, the product would be expected to be racemic mixture. So, if the substrate is optically active, that means if the substrate is having a chiral center, then due to the formation of enantiomers in equal amounts, so there is probability for the formation of enantiomers in equal amounts, D and L enantiomers. The product would be expected to be a racemic mixture. Racemic mixture means a compound in which a mixture in which both the enantiomers will be in equal amounts. That is racemic mixture. Left-handed and right-handed enantiomers will be in equal amounts. So in the case of SN1 reaction, there is the stereochemistry, means the stereochemistry involves the formation of equal amounts of both the enantiomers. We expect in that way. That means we expect for the formation of equal amounts of both the enantiomers. That means we expect the formation of racemic mixture. Experiments with chiral compounds that can undergo SN1 reactions show that a great deal of racemization takes place, but not completely always. Usually we expect a racemic mixture in the case of SN1 reaction, but this is not happening in all the cases. In most cases, when the relative quantities of the two enantiomeric products are considered, it is seen that the inversion product predominated over the retention product. So in most cases, the inversion product predominates over retention product. For example, consider the hydrolysis of an ethanolic solution of 2-bromo-octane using water. 2-bromo-octane, this is a substrate which on hydrolysis with water we will get 2-octanol minus 2-octanol. That means 1 retention product. This is the leaving group. In the product we have the nucleophile on the same side of the leaving group. So this is the retention product. This is obtained in the less amount. Then in the inversion product, the nucleophile is attacked on the back side of the leaving group. So this is the inversion product. This is obtained in the large amount. So these are the two enantiomers obtained in the case of hydrolysis of 2-bromo-octane with water. So usually we expect equal amounts of both the isomers, but in this case we get large amount of inversion product. So let us know why this occurs in the case of SN1 reaction. Then how we know this is the inversion product? That we know from optical rotation. This is having a negative value. Optical rotation means this chiral molecule rotates the plane polarized light to in the anti-clockwise direction. This is having a negative value, anti-clockwise or in the negative direction, whereas this one rotates the plane polarized light in the clockwise direction or positive direction. So from the rotation we know whether it is inverted product or retention product. So if we get all the products with negative rotation, that is retention product, but here we get racemic mixture with, usually we expect racemic mixture, but in the case of hydrolysis of bromo to bromooctane, we get more inversion product. So racemic mixture is not the final product. Inversion product, more inversion product we will get in the case of SN1 reaction, not racemic mixture. Then we discussed that we get a great proportion of retention product. Why a great proportion of inversion occurs can be explained as follows. One side, which we call the front side of the carbocation formed, is not completely free for some time to react with the nucleophile water, contrary to our expectations. Let us consider the hydrolysis of 2-bromooctane minus 2-bromooctane with water. Water is considered as a nucleophile, that means OH minus is the nucleophile. So in the first step in the SN1 reaction, there is the formation of carbocation. That means this CBr bond will break and we will get a carbocation, C plus plus Br minus. Usually we expect a carbocation and a leaving group. That means we expect leaving group will move away. But in the reaction mixture, the leaving group will not move away. It will stay for some time with the carbocation and forms an ion pair due to the electrostatic attraction between the carbocation and the bromide ion. Due to the electrostatic attraction, they form an ion pair and the leaving group will not move away from the front side of the carbocation. So it will hinder, this leaving group will hinder the attack of the incoming nucleophile from the front side. So incoming nucleophile cannot attack from the front side due to the shielding of the leaving group. So the leaving group can attack from the backside. Backside attack is only possible during the lifetime of ion pair. Lifetime means this ion pair formation will be for some time. That means ion pair can exist for some time only. After that it will break. So this front side is shielded from the approaching nucleophile by the departing bromide ion for a period of time as it clings to the carbocation through electrostatic attraction. The combination is called an ion pair. So what happens when a carbocation is formed? When a carbocation is formed, due to the dissociation of the leaving group, the leaving group will not move away. It will form a ion pair with a carbocation due to electrostatic attraction of different charges. So the front side attack of the nucleophile, here OH minus water, front side attack of the nucleophile will not be possible. So only possible attack is from backside attack. So how will be the products? Backside attack. Due to the backside attack, we will get inversion product. That means first ion pair will form for some time. Then what will happen? That time only the backside attack is possible. Then what will happen? During the lifetime of this ion pair, the nucleophile molecules can attack only from the backside, the side remote to the bromide ion. That you know. The backside attack means the side away from the leaving group, then giving rise to inversion. So one possible attack is from the backside attack during the lifetime of ion pair. Then what will happen? What will happen after that? Afterwards, however, the components of the ion pair are separated through the intervention of the solvent layers. So water molecule is acting as a solvent. Then after that, there will be the formation of ion pair for some time. For a period of time, the ion pair will exist. Then after that, the solvent molecules will interfere between the ion pair. Ion pair means between the positively charged carbocation and leaving group there will be solvent molecules. The solvent molecules will interfere between the carbocation and leaving group so that they will break away. The ion pair dissociation will occur. Then front side attack, then we will get what? We will get the carbocation, free carbocation. First we will get the ion pair with the leaving group. Then after the interfering of the solvent molecules between the ion pair will dissociate. Then we will get a free carbocation. Then the leaving group will move away. So in this case, the front side attack and the back side attack will be possible. This is the planar carbocation. So the front side attack and back side attack will be possible. So the nucleophile H2 attacks from both sides, from back side and also from front side. If the nucleophile attacks from the front side, we will get retention product. This is having minus rotation value. This is also having a reactant. Starting reactant is also having a minus reactant value. So retention product. So that means nucleophile attacks on the same side from where the leaving group depart. That is the retention product. In the inversion product, you can see the nucleophile attacks from the side opposite to that of the leaving group. So this is the inversion product having optical rotation just opposite to that of the starting material. So both products are formed when the ion pair dissociates. Then before the ion pair dissociation, the only possible attack is from the back side. So we will get an inversion product. That means first an ion pair forms, then after the ion pair dissociation, backside attack is only during the formation lifetime of this ion pair, only backside attack is possible. Then only we will get inversion product. So altogether the inversion product is more. That means in this step, during the lifetime of ion pair, we will get inversion product. Then after the dissociation of ion pair also we get inversion product. So altogether inversion product is more, then somewhat retention product is also there. That is why a greater proportion of inversion product during the reaction of SN1 reaction of hydrolysis of SN1 hydrolysis of 2-bromo octane with water. This is always happen. Not always. In most cases, we will get inversion product more. This makes both side and front side attacks possible, yielding both the inversion product and retention product. The net result is the formation of greater proportion of the inversion product. So, in SN1 reaction, we expect resin mixture, but what happens is usually what happens is that we will get inversion product in a greater proportion compared to retention product. This is about the stereochemistry of SN1 reaction. Thank you.